Hi, welcome back to Smoking Cheltenham. Hope you're good. Right then, as promised, we've got 10 to follow here for you today. Um, we've got a little bit of tidying up to do from the last video and a selection for Friday, first one of the season. Yeah, a little bit pushed for time today, so I'm kind of going to whiz through this a bit. I'm hoping we can do it in about half an hour, but we'll see. You know what I'm like. So yeah, the tidying up. Yeah, Il Atlantique, he was in the recycle bin, weren't he? I said at 20 to 1. It was actually 25 to 1. I noticed when I was looking back through a few of my notes. Um, just on him, yeah. We'll chat just a little about him. I was so impressed with him first time up last season. He looked really grown and strengthened up. A fantastic looking specimen. Then he went on to the Lawlers and Ace, didn't he? And just got chinned by Reading Tommy wrong. That seemed a fine run at the time. We're happy with that. And then he just dropped off, didn't he? We're disappointing, I think, in those last three grade ones. I don't know why. Maybe he got a bit weak and couldn't take his training. I'm not sure. I mean, you look back at his bumper form there, it ties in with like Firefox and Stella Story. Obviously, Stella Story went on and took the Albert Bartlett, didn't he? And Firefox placed in the Supreme and a couple of grade ones after, So, yeah, I don't know why the wheels fell off last year, but they did. He does look a fine big chasing type. I don't know if Willie might tweak a few things with him like he does. I kind of expect he'll be impressive first time out again, and it's like after that, will he go on from there? I don't know. So he's in the recycle bin at the minute, but maybe he'll escape that bin. I don't know. We'll see. There were one horse, a performance I wanted to mention from the weekend. Horse I saw, I wasn't really expecting. Blue Devassi, a 5-year-old, trained by Gordon Elliott. He took out a 2 mile 2 furlong maiden hurdle at Fairy House by 25 lengths. Yeah, he gave the first some air. After that, he jumped great. He travelled powerfully in second, always looked to be controlling the race. He sort of quickened to the front on the approach to 2 out. He was fast and slick over the last. It was impressive. Race fell apart a bit, the horse in second took a tumble late on. But he hit the line well. I mean, he was only 1 from 4 in bumpers. He won his last bumper form there. It was nothing special, his bumper form, but he looks a much improved animal this year. Can be, early season form, you can get carried away, can't you? But he just looks a nice horse, so, I'd keep an eye out for him. Right then, the 10 to follow. Right, I've ordered these kind of unofficial ratings from top down. I've tried to avoid the likes of Ballyburn and Galloping and that, and also sort of horses we've got bets on for Cheltenham. There's one we've got a bit of change on there, but I've tried to throw a few new horses in there, a few surprises for you. Yeah, but there's horses you'll have heard me talk about before as well, So then, number 1, Journey with Me. You'll heard me talk a little about this fella, I know. Rated 162, is 8 rising 9, trained by Henry. 3 from 8 over fences. So if you've been watching for a while, you'll have heard some of this before, but to me, he was an horse he always kind of bailed out when the going got tough in a race. he managed to do that in the Ballymore and cost me the TriCast at the last that day. But I thought last year, with they threw a tongue tie on him, and I thought he looked improved last year. He'll have needed his first run there. He impressed me on his second run in Grade 2 at Fairyhouse. He beat Appreciate It by 9 lengths that day. They went really quick in the heavy ground, and it took a bit of getting, and he really toughed it out towards the end, which is something I've not really sort of seen him do before. Then he stepped up against the big boys, didn't he, at Punchestown, stepped up in Trip and Class to 3 miles. I thought he ran a fine race there, travelled into it lovely. I just don't think he got home over the trip. I think they'll target the Ryanair with this guy. Do. I've been just throwing, I think 25s is the best price for him. I've just been throwing a little bit of change on him on Betfair. He's in the market on Betfair now lately, sort of between 50 to 1 and 100 to 1. I've only got a bit of change on him. I've got him for like 800 and something pound already, and I'll just leave it at there for now. He's, like I say, he's just an horse, I think, to throw a bit of change at sort of 50 to 1 plus. If he don't quite prove up to Ryanair class, this Robco outfit, the canny lads, aren't they? They're very good at placing the horses. They're brilliant, and I just think he'll pop up somewhere at a nice price sometime this season. He's kind of a little pet project of mine. Sometimes you look a genius, and sometimes it just goes terribly wrong, doesn't it? But yeah, that's number one there, Journey with me. Number 2. Yeah, we were chatting about this horse last week. Spillane's Tower. Yeah, we love this horse, don't we? He's officially rated 155. He's a 6-year-old son of Walk in the Park, trained by the legend that is Jimmy Mangan. Now, it's basically just what I said last week about this fella. He wears no headgear or anything. He ran 7 times last season. He took 4 of those. That's some constitution he's got there, which, that augurs well, for his career. JP, he's got plenty, hasn't he? I mean, he took 2 Grade 1s out his last 2 runs, but he's got plenty of these this season. He could end up in a Gold Cup or Ryanair, I'm not really sure. And I just think last year we put him fast or slow, didn't he? And I think he's a bit like that in that because he's not trained by a Willie or a Gordon, you might get a better price than you should do for him because he's going to be running against like the top horses, isn't he? And he might surprise a few and pop up at a nice price somewhere, Yeah, it's only 6 now, so. I think there's plenty more to come from him, like Spillane's Tower. Number 3 then, right, this one might surprise you a little bit more, get a bit different now, is Founder 50. Yeah, he's a 7-year-old, also rated 155, trained by Gordon Elliott. If you've been watching for a good while, you remember now, kind of loved him at Down Royal on his Chase debut. He looked much stronger there. He looked a weak finisher, I thought, in his bumpers, but he strengthened up tremendously. He was 3 from 6 last season over fences. The last 5 races he contended were all Grade 1s. He was never out of the first 2 in all 6 of those races. That's what I like about this fella. He just turns up every day and runs his race. His defeats there came to Iron Maximus, Elite Thompson, Gaelic Warrior. You know, yeah, that, disappointed a little bit at the time with his running the Drinmore there. But in hindsight, I mean, Iron Maximus, he weren't really a novice, were he? And the home straight, particularly that day at Fairyhouse, horses were struggling to get home. You know, he still ran a fine race there. After that, he sort of kept dropped into 2 mile, but I think he'll be fine at 2.5. You know, yeah, tremendously consistent horse. It's a big step up for him this year into open company. You know, on the face of it, you'd have to think he might struggle a bit this year, but he improved a lot last year, didn't he, for Summer at Grass, and maybe he will again. And he's just the sort that might pop up at a nice price somewhere. He's the kind, you know, we've had some shocks in that champion chase, haven't we? I could see him, you know, if you were to tell me now something's going to take it out at 50-1, he'd be the horse I'd nominate anyway. I could see him placing anyway in a Ryanair or champion chase at a big price. Yeah, he just turns up every day and runs his race, and that counts for a lot, you know. It's a really admirable horse, I think, £1.50. Right, and number 4. Madgeborough. We like Madgeborough, don't we? Yeah, I took the Triumvirdal out last year. He's a 5-year-old, rated 150, trained by Willie. Yeah, he's a giant horse, isn't he? I've been giving him some thought lately, and I think I know what they're going to do with this fella. I think they will send him over fences, and I reckon they'll take that sort of Blood Destiny, Spillane's Tower route. I expect he'll contest all them sort of races in Ireland. I imagine he'll be kept to Ireland, so I wouldn't really go backing him for Cheltenham. It just makes sense to me. He kind of runs in all them races them two were running in last year. He'll probably have his target, you know, as the Grade 1 Willow Warm Gold Cup at Fairyhouse, that 2.5 mile Grade 1 race. And yeah, I think they might skip Cheltenham with his age. You know, he's only he's 4, isn't he now? So he's going to be 5 next season. You know, and I think he'll repay that kindness next year. He's still got a Grade 1 to go out there, and maybe if, you know, he's been really impressive and he's on a roll, they might take him that Grade 1 at Punchestown. You know, I'm not sure the gap this year between Fairyhouse and Punchestown, but they could go for the race Spillane's Tower took there, I suppose. But I think that's what they'll do with him. I might be wrong, it's just my thoughts. I've not heard anything about like that, but that just makes good sense to me. Gets him some chasing experience, you know, and yeah, he'll be ready to rock and roll like next season then. And he's still got Grade 1 there, hasn't he, to go for. Yeah, so we'll see, but I imagine that's the way they may go with him. Yeah, he looks, you know, he's one to follow, isn't he? If they do that, he could be unbeaten through the season, you'd imagine. I mean, I don't think we're going to be getting big prices on this guy, like, you know, but hopefully he might be a bit of a cash machine for us there, if you don't mind your short ones anyway. And if they stay in Ireland, he could well be unbeaten. So he'd be one, do you know, if you could get one of them specials on him being unbeaten through the season, that could be something, but you'd probably have to request it or something, you know, I suppose. Yeah, I'm sorry for rattling through this a bit, but I am a bit pushed for time today. So the halfway mark. Right, in the interest of balance, I've got to throw in a couple of English horses for this. And the first one is Django Bay. you know we like this horse. He's a 5-year-old rated 146 for Nicky Henderson. So if you've been watching a long time, when he beat Tell Her the Name, I think I put Tell Her the Name up as a selection that day. With Ascot, I think, and he had no right to win that race. He was far too keen through the race. He'd got headed and he come back and won. He had no right to do that. Thought that marked him down as something a bit out of the ordinary, at the time. So we made him the Christmas nap, didn't we? And we got a bit lucky there, fair enough. But you have enough bad luck, don't you? You take the good. He landed that at a nice price, that grade 1 at Aintree. He was very unlucky, weren't he, in that handicap hurdle, valuable handicap hurdle, 2.5 mile, last run of the season. Met a lot of trouble there. The handicapper certainly agreed. He put him up £7 for coming second, So I'd say handicaps are out of the question for him. He'll be going graded route, but he should make a cracking chase. Be effective from 2 to 3, but probably 2.5 may be his best trip. It may end up being 3 mile, He's not one really I'd be taking a price on for Cheltenham, but I think he'll take high rank over here. He'll take some beating this side of the Irish Sea, I think, and personally for me, he's about the most exciting novice chasing prospect this season. I love him. He's a fine horse. Right then, number 6. You like this one? I found you the Troy Town winner. It's alright, isn't it? Yeah. You'll thank me later. Yeah, Troy Town winner this. American Mike. He's a 7-year-old, trained by Gordon Elliott, rated 145. Always been highly regarded, hasn't he, this guy? Once upon a time he was second to Facile Vega in that bumper, weren't he? The wheels kind of fell off somewhat over hurdles. Right. Why Troy Town then? Right. He's unbeaten first time out. Yeah, I'll read you his first time out record here. Right. We'll even include the point to point, just cause, he beat High Class Hero by 20 lengths in his point to point. That's not bad form, is it? Season after, well, he's like a rules debut for Gordon. He beat Royal Romeo 7 lengths in a bumper at Down Royal. Season after, again at Down Royal, he beat Let's Be Clear About It 6.5 lengths in a 2 mile 6 maiden hurdle. And then, of course, last year he came out and he beat Factor File, just a shade over 3 lengths in that 2.5 mile beginners at Navan. That's not bad form, is it? He was dynamite that day, weren't he? I know Factor File needed the run, but yeah, that was a big performance that day. His other win last season came at Navan as well, where he beat Nick Rocket 1.25 in the grade 2 10 up. That was a tough race that day in the heavy ground, and I just wonder in hindsight, did that kind of knock the edge off both of those horses? So in summary then, right, he's unbeaten first time out. He's 2 from 2 at the track over fences. He's rated 145. The last 3 Troy Town winners have been rated 153, 145 and 148. 2 of those for Gordon Elliott. And do you want a cherry on top? I'm not that mad on cherries myself, I don't know. Wife likes them. But yeah, cherry on top. His sire Marla also sired Chris's Dream, who also took the 10 up before as a novice before taking out the Troy Town, and the Big Dog. So two quite recent winners there at the Troytown, side by Marla. So yeah, we await prices with interest there for the Troytown. After that, I don't know. Um, yeah, stable tours will be coming out soon. We'll see if Gordon name checks the race for him. Right then, number 7. Oh, I love this horse, Mirror's West. I had to put this fella in. 6-year-old, rated 138. But I think he'll be going chasing. Trained by Willie Mullins. It's Fernie's little brother in it. Is a complete mad bastard. This horse he is. Sorry, Mum. Can't swear in front of my mum. No. Sorry. Yeah, he is. He beat. Yeah, he was beat 6 lengths by King of Kingsfield, weren't he? I do have a liking for these unhinged horses. They channel that energy in the right direction. They're often, really talented. Thin line between genius and madness, isn't it? They say. Yeah, he got beat, didn't he, on his hurdles debut, 6 length by King of Kingsfield at Leopardstown. Hung right, jumped to his right. He looked really wayward and wild that day. Then he went to Fairy House, he won his maiden well there. Then he went to Nace, where he got beat at odds on by Fun. Didn't jump great, looked a bit wild again. Then he went back to Fairy House, right-handed, and won a grade 2 easily. He looked classy that day. And then he stepped up in class and stepped up in trip at Punchestown, 2.5 mile way, ran behind Ballyburn. Finished fairly well beat in the end, but he moved through that horse like a classy horse. He did. Probably did a bit too much. And to be honest, I think this is just an out 2 miler this fella do. He's going to be a massively exciting chaser. He's got pace to burn, and his chase debut should be something to watch. That'll be exciting to see. He just looks like one of those horses. I can imagine him being electric over his fences, but we'll see. Yeah, he's a bit mad, isn't he? And he just needs to sort of channel that energy in the right direction. Cheltenham, I don't know, because he does have this. We've got to see if he can get it together going left-handed, haven't we? But he'll win races this year, and he'll be a good ride following him, I'd say. Right, number 8, Chapeau de Soleil. This is another one for Willie's 6-year-old. Last one of Willie's in this list. Rated 138. Yeah. Probably most people will remember this horse last year for his performance in that Lawler as an Ace, where he just put, a shocking display of jumping. He did actually stay on alright towards the end of that race. Now, after watching that, you wouldn't have been fancying this fella for like a 23 runner handicap, would you? But he did take out a 23 runner handicap at Punchestown on his last start off. I think he was 135. He was buried in the rear early. He kind of jumped fine. On the run to 3 out, he only had 3 or 4 behind him. He really only got going coming to the last under like an inspired power back to Brian Hayes drive. He got up on the line. He's always been highly regarded, this fella. He was favourite for the bumper once upon a time, and he could yet fulfil that potential over fences. He was actually 3 from 4 over hurdles last year. He's surely crying out for 3 miles. He enjoys heavy ground. He's 33, he's for the RSA, the Browns, sorry. I know we've got quite a squad for that, can't be adding to that, but if you gave me a free bet, I'd throw a bit of change at that 33s, you never know. Yeah, I'm not quite sure where he'll end up, but yeah, could be a Browns horse, and maybe over fences he will fulfil that potential. He didn't do a lot wrong really last season, in hindsight, just that Lawler's an ace run. Yeah, he's another one. He's a bit mad, isn't he? You know, if you like these unhinged. Right then, number 9 then. Yeah, another English horse there. Um, Ludatud, a 6-year-old, rated 138 for Harry's Dan Skelton. He were runner up, weren't he, in the biggest two handicap hurdles, certainly this side of the Irish Sea, the Betfair and the County. He ran a blinder in that county. You run that race 10 times and he'd probably won it a few times. Paul inspired on the winner there, absurd. And things fell nicely for him, But yeah, he ran a blinder there. But he does look all over a chaser, doesn't he? So Dan's got options with this horse. He could make up into an Arc horse. But looking at that rating 138, you know what Dan's like with these handicaps at Cheltenham. He'd need 4 runs for an open handicap now. But he were entered up last week, so you must, you can get him out early. He could get the 4 runs there, and there's the 2.5 mile novice, but he could be a Grand Annual horse. So he's got options. He could be an Arc horse. I'd say anything from 2 to 2.5 miles, and he may be one Dan sort of lines up for an handicap. We'll see. And then the last one, last but not least, I suppose he is least on official ratings anyway. He's a 6-year-old, Waterford Whispers. Yeah, I just had to put him in. We got chatting about him last week a bit, didn't we? Rated 135 for Henry. We sort of followed him through the season. He ran a blinder really in that Martin Pipe. He would beat a length and a half by Better Days ahead into second. Just did too much for me in that race. He took it up with a circuit to run, and I thought he just did a bit too much from there and just sort of ran out of petrol right near the end. He looks a lovely chasing type. We know what Henry's like with these chasers. This is how I see his season going, right? He'll make his debut behind like a Ballyburn or an Impera Pass in a beginners, Then he'll find a beginners somewhere, win that nice enough. Then he'll run in like the Irish Arkle at the DRF or something, get beat 20 lengths or so. He'll go to Cheltenham for this 2.5 mile novice off a rating in the low 140s. And like A plus Todd Stiley, he'll win by about 27 lengths on the snap. He'll be punted from like 8s into 7 to 4 or something. I'm a dreamer, eh? So we'll see, but that's why he's here. That's what I imagine anyway for him. In that head of mine. Right, we're just about done then. The selection on Friday, there's Lucinda Russell horse, Town in the 2:45 Eutoxeter. It's a 2.5 mile novice handicap chase. She had a winner the other day in one of these. She's got Primoz running this afternoon. A bit short for me, but I'm interested. I mean, I had like 30 horses or so. I've got them down to 10. I've thrown some good ones out, and Primoz was one of those. Don't know how he'll get on today, but he's, she's I haven't looked at like the stats, but she seems to be quite good with these novices. I'd say in the handicaps early season, Maya Town's only rated 1, 2, 3, same connections as Ahoy Senior, and he were entered up to running that 3 mile grade one at Aintree. Is it the Sefton? Yeah, yeah, he entered up in that race anyway. The same one Ahoy Senior won. He must have picked up a little knock or something and missed that. But off 1, 2, 3, yeah, 2.5 mile. Yeah, I kind of like him for that race. Just price pending, like, I don't really like going less than 3s in handicaps, so we'll just see what sort of price we get there. So yeah, that's that. We did all right with it last year, and hopefully we'll do all right this year. Hopefully there's something there for you anyway. I'd recommend getting your own list together if you've not done so yet. I can guarantee you, when you start delving through the form and stuff, you'll unearth a few things, and you'll feel a bit more prepared for the sort of coming season. So yeah, that was that. I enjoyed doing that. So thanks for your time. Then I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm going to be doing for the next video, but I'll see you in the next sort of week or two. There's going to be a lot of stable tours sort of coming out in the next couple of weeks, I'd imagine, and we'll find out a lot of plans there, won't we? So, say Willie's, he gave 2 to follow, didn't he? And they both won at Cheltenham, Factifile and Masborough, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that one. And yeah, there'll be a lot of news and running plans coming through the next couple of weeks, so that'll be interesting. Right, yeah, so thanks for your time then. I do appreciate it, I really do, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.